really turns you off. It can really turn you away from the game. So the EPL needs to really, and I think European football in general, UEFA, the FA, they really need to get a handle on the simulation and the diving. And there's one thing in earning a penalty for your club, but the theatrics really need to go. I really think they do.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. It wasn't enjoyable watching.
I was disappointed to see that Culture Club's drummer was refereeing again for us. If you all remember the debacle at the Etihad, how many penalties did he award? 4?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
He's got to be the worst referee in the league.
And red carded Fozzie on his league debut.
Yeah, and he was inconsistent today. He was soft in spots today, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, Rooney rugby tackling Harry Kane in the box. I've seen softer things given.
And in the first 10, 15 minutes, it really looked like he was going to let them play. I mean, it was really rough and tumble there, and he wasn't calling anything, or if he would play advantage, and then all of a sudden it shut off.
Yeah, he was just really inconsistent, wasn't he? Because it looked like that he was going to let him play, and then there was a number of sort of soft challenges, and then some obvious ones that were missed. Kane in the box with what Rooney did to him. And,
exactly. And then upcoming, when you look at things and it's like, okay, upcoming, what's left? Very fast, very furious part of the schedule. We have Chelsea, and then we play Palace away. You kind of look at the fixture list and you go, okay, this is the meat of this. And if we can keep nicking a point here, or possibly scrape together a win, or even if we drop one to get 3 the next time out. One of the things that I've noticed with this year, and I went back and I looked at last year's schedule, it seems like even our away games are in or very much around London. We're not having, even though the fixtures are coming hard and fast, we're not having to travel a whole bunch. And I think that has to play into, I don't know how minute of an advantage, but a little bit of an advantage, wouldn't you think?
Well, sandwiched in there, you got to remember we've got to go to Burnley on Monday night for the FA Cup third round. Then we're back for Palace. Then the following week, you're right, we're at home because we got Sunderland, which is good, and that's also on a Saturday. Then we're away to, I think, depending on the FA Cup fourth round, we have a weekend off unless we're playing in it. Hopefully we are. And then I think we have West Brom away, which is not the end of the world. But yeah, you're right. January is going to be tough, but you also have to remember in the middle of that too is a home and away midweek fixture in the League Cup semi-finals.
Yeah. So
you think December was tough? January is not looking too easy as far as fixtures. So
yeah, we're gonna be very, very busy. But I'll say this: I mean, I took a look at the full slate, and with the exception of Chelsea, all the way through February 7, when we play,
including that day, right?
Including that day, right? These are all matches that we should be looking for a result. I don't know. I mean, I know we all look at that and we all think, oh yeah, 3 points, 3 points, 3 points. But I think we can now all agree. I think we are improving. There is progress. The style of football is not where he wants it to be, but I think given the players that we have, I think we're moving forward. I really do, and I'm glad. That there are, that we seem to have some patience at the executive level, and nobody is ringing alarm bells, and we're going to stay the course, and we're going to put our trust in this man, and we're going to continue to progress.
Yeah. If I can jump on the last couple of matches, and I kind of agree with both of you. Definitely did dodge a bullet at Leicester. I was cooking a fry up on Boxing Day for that, but watching it, it was atrocious at times, just how we were overrun. Yeah. And it had shades of the Swansea game. We scored early, we absorbed some pressure, went in at the break leading, and then came right out and let a goal in. And fortunately, we didn't have to wait till the last minute, but we had to take a barrage of a team rock bottom in confidence as well as league position. And they absolutely battered us. So how we were fortunate enough to get out of there with 3 points, I don't know. But we'll take it, because sometimes you've got to win ugly, and we've proved that this season. But I thought today, as much as we were under the cosh in the first half against United, and we rode our luck a little bit, just like the other day, I thought second half, I don't know what he said to them at halftime, but that was chalk and cheese performances. And
Yep.
as Van Gaal rightly said, his team was, they were on the back foot that whole second half. And,
Yep.
I think you've probably read it in the media. A lot of people, they said it in some of these games where we've come and won in the last minute, that our fitness levels, under the training that Poch and the coaches have put into the lads, has been instrumental in us being able to do that in the second half. So if we've started flat in the first half of a game, we've been able to adjust and fix it in the second half. And that, with all these fixtures coming up, is probably going to do us pretty well.
Yep.
We've just got to stop this sloppiness when we start a game. And we'll talk more about it, I guess, as to where we need to alter some positions, some personnel, and get things adjusted. But I really couldn't fault the lads second half. I honestly thought we were going to nick a winner.
Agree, and think about it. I mean, we've talked about it before. I mean, the dividing line between wins and losses is very fine in this league. But this is the biggest confidence builder, and the biggest takeaway that I took from today was, look, that's 100 million pounds of talent, most of which is offensive, that we looked very comfortable against, especially in the last 30 minutes of that match. And frankly, I mean, they had one shot on goal, nothing in the last 20 minutes. And even in spite of the players that we had the better chances. We definitely had no less energy than what we had in the first 30 minutes of the match. And I think that's really, really encouraging. And, I was having some conversations with some people this week about, we're winning ugly, blah, blah. I don't give a shit. We're winning. And that breeds confidence. And I made a tweet today, and I really believe this. We are, a point away, 1 point with Chelsea, couple of players in the window, and I'm very much looking forward to 2015.
Yeah, it's when you look at today. For me, it's we played at home, which hasn't really been the strong suit. But you can argue that it's just numbers, really. United has to be the informed team in the league right now. They're playing better than obviously City, who had to nick a tie. Got it. They were up 2-0 to Burnley, and Burnley comes back and nicks a draw with them. And Chelsea, lack of killer instinct, I think, is what I've been hearing from some people, and maybe that's rightfully, so to say. But United, arguably, is the team in form, and we shut them down.
The resident Anorak. We touched on this last week with the form guide that's on the Premier League website. Actually, City are the form team just because United drew their last 2 games, and if City hadn't blundered today, they'd be out there with 6 wins in their last 6 matches. But they're on top still, 16 points over United's 14. Yeah. The Woolwich, they're in 3rd, and then tied with Chelsea. And then it's the Scousers, but they could slip up against Swansea, and then it's us. We were, I think, 3rd or 4th last week.
3rd.
So it didn't help dropping points today. But you know what? A draw at home to United. Granted, we haven't beaten them at home since 2001, and we've been unbeaten in 5 games against them, which is an awesome record considering our woeful performance over them in recent years. But it'd have been nice to break that hoodoo and get the home win, but it's not the end of the world drawing at home to United. As you said, that they are on form. Yeah. We'd have loved to have played them probably on the back of them having played Leicester in that 5-3 debacle.
Yeah, if we could take Sunderland and West Brom and play them now and play United about week 4 or 5, when we played them, things could be very different in the points.
Well, you don't ever want to make excuses, but you play teams throughout the course of a season, and things are cyclical, and sometimes it's good timing, sometimes it's bad timing. But look at some of the fixtures that we've come up against this year. Some of the teams, West Brom, right, propping up the bottom of the table, and then suddenly they hit a rich vein of form at home to us. They beat us at the Lane. It happened again with Newcastle. And they had just broken their horrible run, and they come to the Lane and nicked something and went on to win another 3 or 4 games before they went off the boil. And it happens. I'm sure that the team that had to face us on the back of a poor run of form by us probably wasn't looking
Yeah.
forward to suddenly having to take us on, and we turned it around. So it is cyclical, and it just so happens that we were facing a team that was on form in United. We're going to face another one on New Year's Day too. So there shouldn't be any false illusions on that. However, if you look at the form guide, it's not so good for Chelsea away. They've drawn 3, they've lost 1, and they've only won 2 of their last 6.
Yeah, and going into that again, you have to think you're going to be happy if you can take a point.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. I think, I couldn't agree with that more. And the way that I look at it, as I said, I'm just really pleased about what. Like that lineup today, I walked into the pub and I was just shocked. And then as I've thought about it all day long, I mean, it really was a bit of a stroke of genius. I mean, he sort of looked at it within sort of a body of work. Season's very long, and Simon, to your points that you just made, it's cyclical, it's ups and downs, and you know what? We've had our 3 best results, performances. I think QPR doesn't really say much. Everton. And Southampton to a degree. And neither 3 of those, I think, represent what will be our best football. And make a point at Chelsea, and onward and upward.
Yeah, I agree with that. The upcoming Chelsea match, I'm almost more concerned about playing Palace away. Their crowd gets so into the games, and Palace, we've had such a disgusting performance against them, and the last time that happened was Newcastle, and then we turned right back around, played them not just 3 weeks later, and just demolished them. And that's almost what I expect. And when you go back and we talk about the team and we talk about the form, it's Pochettino trying to find his best 11. And I think if we all kind of just sit down and just think about it for 5 minutes, we kind of feel what his best 11 is given the players that he was given. The 6 months that he's had the team, the fitness level is probably at its peak. And you can look at these guys. If Harry Kane, as a center forward, is running around 12, 13 kilometers per match,
right,
and he's doing it every 4th day, or every 6th day, and he's doing it without complaint, and these other guys are flying up and down the wings, and they look strong, they don't look weak, they never look defeated on their feet. And and Simon hit the nail on the head, I think, with the United. The last 10 minutes of games over the last 4 weeks, maybe, the other teams look like they're absolutely dead, holding their shorts, leaning over, gasping for breath in the last 8 minutes of each match. And our guys look a little bit fresh, or at least fresher. And this is what we expected out of Pochettino. I knew it was going to take time. We're not perfect. And we're going to touch on that. Chelsea's coming up. Do they lack a killer instinct? We don't know. Eden Hazard is still Eden Hazard. I would love to have him, playing left wing for my team. I can tell you that. We did not face Costa last time. We will face him this time. They have an incredibly talented back line with Ivanovic and Terry and the whole group there. And their midfield is nothing to sneeze at. He rested Oscar today. He will be very well rested, and he's played very well all year long. We turned around, we rested Lamella, we rested Walker on that side, and Davis should be more than ready to come back and play the left. That defensive back line is going to have to be stellar, and Hugo is going to have to take the form that he's had this week in the game before and drag that with him, because I got a feeling he's going to need it. Some of these misses that we've seen from Leicester, and even today, are not going to be misses.
Yeah,
these are going to be shots on goal, and he's going to have to be in top form.
That's a great point. And one of the things that we talked about fitness levels and the epic amount of training that these players have undergone under Pac's regime, but something that never really or doesn't really seem to get talked about much. Our physio room is absolutely fantastic. I'm knocking on wood when I say this, but these players have had 30 matches, 2-a-day training for much of the last couple of months. Players coming back quickly from injury, i.e. Mason. Well, I don't think anybody was really expecting him back as quickly as he's bounced back. So there's, I think those guys deserve a lot of credit as well, keeping guys healthy with this with this just sort of epic, fixture, schedule that we've had, and this intense training. In fact, I think Pock at the end of his interview today said, "Back to training, let's train." Yeah. And I think United actually had the day off yesterday.
I think that's a good point. I mean, even Dembele, when he came on, looked like he could have run another 30 minutes after that game was over. He made a difference when he came on.